Talk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. Big show on Friday. We got you locked and loaded here going into the weekend. Dan, what do we got for the show today? Because it's jam-packed, sports galore this weekend.
Well, dude, I mean, it's a Friday edition, so you already know we have some of the best guests that WagerTalk has to offer coming your way. That's right. Marco contractually makes me say that because, yes, Marco D'Angelo, he's on today. He's talking a little MLB action, Cardinals, Padres, Braves, and Dodgers. That's coming your way on the show right here. Teddy Covers also in the house, a little pair of game threes, one of which I am not very excited for. That is the Knicks and 76ers. And one that is very intriguing to me is this Spurs and T-Wolves series. So Teddy going to have best bets for you in both of those. Gianni the Greek right here at the top. What are we seeing? Steam heading into the weekend. Anything that he has seen in UFC as he is on the East Coast for UFC action. So we'll get the latest from Gianni. But Andy, minute into the show, what do? We give people a free client play right out of the gate here, Andy. And what are we eyeing for today? And how did yesterday's play look as we were checking out Strus in the association?
Yeah, he had a terrible game. Like, it was so bad, I would actually come right back to him. I think I probably will.
It's one of those situations.
Yeah, he wasn't getting shot attempts. He wasn't getting rebound chances. And the Cavs were playing terrible. I'm actually going to ask Teddy what he thinks about this Cleveland Cavaliers debacle that's going on right now. So, so 13-6 on plays of the day. But we're going to go to your team, Dan, the Phillies. But we're not taking the Phillies. We're taking the Rockies.
I see what we're doing here.
2.5 on the team total feels too low. We hit the last time we saw a 2.5 that was out there. I was like, that's just too low for a Major League Baseball team. So let's dive into this. Luzardo is your pitcher here. Gave up 2 runs the last start. He was great the previous 2 starts. 3 out of his 4 home starts have really been disasters. 7 innings, no runs against the Giants. That was a good one. But 5.1 innings, 8 earned runs versus the Cubs. 4.2 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned runs against the Diamondbacks. 6 innings, 6 hits, 6 earned runs versus Texas. He did pitch great at Colorado earlier this season, and that's why we're getting this 2.5. But this Rockies offense we tend to think of Rockies as like, oh, they score a bunch at home and then they're just horrible on the road. Not so much this year. Their batting average is only 20 points different away home. And let's look at this Rockies offense. They scored 3 runs in 12 out of 19 away games this season and 6 out of their last 7. I think this number should be 3.5. When I see a 2.5 on a Major League Baseball team, yeah, we got to take the over. So that's going to be the play of the day. Rockies over 2.5.
No disagreement here. I mean, last night, it's funny. Who knows? Maybe the recipe to success is always fade the Phillies after they clinch a series, right? Because they don't seem like they're a team who is going to rattle off 10 wins in a row, but they'll rattle off 10 series wins in a row. I mean, the fact that they end up, beating up on the A's 2 straight games, and then yesterday just a complete one-sided debacle. I could definitely see a little bit of hangover heading here into a new series against an offense, Andy, that I think he kind of nailed it a little bit. Not underrated, but definitely at 2.5 as a team total, undervalued as we head on into a Friday matchup here with the Phils. So no disagreement, man. Bounce back. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, this feels like this is priced as last year or previous year's Rockies team. They're a little bit better. So
good point.
If I see a 2.5 on a team total, unless they're going
You're
up,
probably wanting to fire. Yeah, you got to find a way to fire.
Honestly, I can't think off the top of my head of a pitcher that I would be really, really confident in. There's a couple, but we just don't have that guy this year, I think. So I don't know.
Fair.
Interesting thought.
Let us know in the comments. What pitcher are you thinking could lock anyone down any day? Doesn't matter whether, because again, that was Skeens for like a month or 2. You know what I mean? Last year.
Skubal last year, but yeah, last year
Exactly.
Skubal, but I don't
Wheeler,
know. So.
okay.
Maybe. Let's do our 3-day pass contest before we get Gianni in here. So what do we do?
Yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to go back to it. A lot of folks have had a lot of fun doing this. So typically we say this at the end of the show. We want more people chance to win. So no sell me with Teddy covers today, since we have all these series kind of ongoing. Not many, huge spreads that we want to break down. We're sick of talking Lakers and Thunder. So what we're going to do, which team in the MLB do you think will reach double digits? Any team. You just let us know. Comment below with your Wager Talk username. Monday, if you were right, your team hits 10 runs or more, boom, free 3-day flex pass going to be going your way. So let us know in the comments below which team is raking this Friday. They get to 10 runs. Include your Wager Talk username. When the show ends, boom, you're entered in. Free 3-day flex pass. Let's go.
All right, let's go with Gianni, who is out in New Jersey. First off, Gianni, how are you enjoying it out there in Newark?
I'm having the absolute best time. I was over at the press conference yesterday because I taped my show right after the press conference on that same stage. So we were there beforehand for a production meeting and all that. So that was wild. But more importantly for me and subscribers, as far as betting goes, I had dinner yesterday with a really, really, really solid new connect and provided him with some accounts and already started receiving some stuff. So really excited to have a new connect as far as a source for my subscribers. So excited for what's ahead. And I keep it real. I'm having a tough week so far, and mostly baseball. And I'm actually down. If the season ended right now, I'd be down for baseball. But that's why I'm really excited, because I really trust my power ratings and the long-term success of baseball. And I'm confident my sample size will be big enough to eliminate any randomness. So then when dust settles, I'll be profitable. So now's like the best time. And fortunately, I have the steam room every week, and I'm able to keep subscribers, try to at least steer them in the right direction. Because I here's what I do. When in doubt, I zoom out. And this morning I zoomed out a little bit and saw, wow, over the last 30 days, we're sitting number one in profit, up over 60 units. So as long as we're managing risk correctly, we're okay. We're okay. But yeah, looking forward to a big weekend. Already fired 3 UFC bets. NBA already a 4% for tonight, and I'm adding another one. So that package will be up within the next 30, 60 minutes. Already fired a couple baseball. I got a 5% tomorrow in UFC. So yeah, I'm locked and loaded, brother. I got a lot. Today's theme sheet is so loaded, Andy, over 20 plus bets. A lot of baseball, one of the hockey games, I think both NBA games. So there's a lot of information today.
Well, let's jump into it. What are we seeing with baseball? Don't think we have any day games. Weather looks to be fine across the board. So I think we got a pretty clean slate to look from. I got to be honest, I had real trouble looking at baseball, but what are you seeing?
All right. I'll read off. It's a big sheet, so I'll just read off a handful of sides, handful of totals. 956, Arizona plus 130, plus 120. 958, San Diego minus 115, minus 120 to minus 125. 964 Baltimore minus 125, 972 Kansas City minus 125, minus 130. Oh, but wait, then 971, a different crew came in and took Detroit plus 130. We're seeing a little of that already this morning. And I'll add 980 Texas plus 130. Couple totals for you. 956 under 8.5 Mets Arizona, under 8 in Colorado and Philadelphia. 970 under 8 Minnesota Cleveland. There's one over, that's 973, Seattle White Sox at 7.5. And finally, Houston, Cincinnati under 9.5. And I saw under 9 as well. Sticks out a little bit because a lot of over money on that game from the public. So probably 2 pitchers with high ERAs or some recency bias there. I haven't dug in so deeply, but just one of those totals that's sticking out a little from public money already.
All right. Anything with NHL or NBA jumping off the page for you?
They're coming back with Montreal in game 2 and going under in that one. Montreal, Buffalo. That's a tough series. I have a future on Buffalo, and coming in, these two teams are very close power rating wise. Buffalo got the best of them during the season series. But they also played 2 of the 3 games in Buffalo, where, again, this team has a pretty strong home ice advantage. They've only lost 11 games there. So this is a big game for them tonight. I'm hoping the Sharps are wrong with the Montreal side. But again, I can't control what they fire in the accounts, and they are on Montreal and on the under as well. That game went over 5.5, 4-2 in game 1. But they are coming back betting that game under this time around at 6. Now it's 5.5. So different number. Just like last game, 6 would have pushed. 5.5 over was a winner.
Anything with Golden Knights and Ducks? I find this series pretty tough. You had 2 very, very different games. I would be hard pressed to try and handicap this game.
No, I saw the line drop, but if I don't see it in the accounts, like with the groups that I work with or one of the traders that I share stuff with, then I'm not going to just call it a steam move because the line moves. You know what I mean? Every game, the line moves. It doesn't mean that it's a sharp reason behind it. So I am seeing line movement towards Anaheim and towards the over. And so far, let me see if that lines up with more importantly, like what the public is doing for that game, or whether, maybe it is sharp money. That's one of the ways you could help conclude it. They are betting Anaheim. The public, at least right now, 2 out of every 3 bets are on Anaheim, but split tickets and money, at least the book that I have access to. And again, hockey isn't the most heavily bet sport, probably, and right now it's NBA first, and it's probably close, comparable to baseball, maybe a little more some games. But again, it's not that heavy and it's early. But yeah, they are betting Anaheim. I'm not surprised. They're a home team. It's a coin flip type of series, coin flip type of game. And they were able to steal one in Vegas to now more or less eliminate home ice, but nothing on the total. So the total's probably sharp as far as the over, because I'm even seeing 6.5 at some of the sharper outs that I have, like the paper heads that are sharp. They're at 6.5, where I am seeing some 6s on the board.
Looks like we lost Andy there for a second. We'll get him back in just a moment. So you mentioned what you'd seen here in NHL. You mentioned MLB, okay, a little slow. What are we seeing here tonight, Gianni, in NBA action? And we're going to have you on last call. Client's going to have the steam room. But what are you also seeing in NBA as we head towards the weekend?
Yep. So far, and obviously you could tell by the line movements pretty much what happened. But they bet Philadelphia to where they're now the favorite. That one flipped. They took Philadelphia +2, Philadelphia +1.5, Philadelphia +1. Pick them. That was moving in like half-point increments, and even the money line slow, and they were betting Philadelphia. They also bet the over 213.5 in that game, and then they laid 3.5 on San Antonio. But I wouldn't be surprised now that I'm seeing 5, even saw 5.5 for a second somewhere, and that came down. And when you see that, then I wouldn't be surprised to see some Minnesota money also, sharp money, because it is a significant move on a playoff game and a side, just like with Philly and New York. Wouldn't be surprised to see like New York money then come in. Philly goes to 2, because again, you don't really see line movements like this, but it's, the NBA's where it is right now with the injuries. But we got used to it during the regular season with players staying out. So the books have had an easier time of adjusting because of that. But it makes it difficult. As far as what the public's doing today, they're also on Philadelphia, which adds risk for the books. So you may see 2 out there. They may try to entice some New York money. And if you do, then it seems they're not really worried that it's going to be a 1-point game. But the Spurs, the same thing. They should try to entice some Minnesota money because they're heavier there. So they're taking both favorites now. Philly was a dog, but they're the favorite now. Public's on both favorites. No surprise, they usually are. And as far as the totals, they're betting them under today, even though the Sharps went over in Philly and the Knicks. But I'm seeing some public money on the under, which, again, isn't surprising because it's the playoffs. They don't blindly bet those over.
Let's see here. We got a question. What do you think about 76ers plus 2.5 on the series for plus 135? They just got to win 2 games. You're I know they got to win 2 games, but you're going up against the Knicks, who have just really kind of peaked. I know the Knicks now have a pretty big injury to deal with OG, but my opinion, there's better bets on the board. Gianni, do you have any opinions on that?
Well, teams up 2-0. Okay, teams up 2-0, regardless of whether they're home or away for the series in the NBA, win about 75% of the time. It doesn't matter what round, first round, second round, third round, or finals. It's right exactly around 75% of the time. So you're bucking that trend. All right. Then the home team for the series, that's the Knicks. They're home for the series. When those teams go up 2-0, regardless whether it's the first round of the playoffs or the finals in the NBA playoffs, those teams win 85% of the time. And I know you only need them to win 2 games, not win the series, but they don't usually get extended either. Like maybe in the championship, the Eastern Conference Championship, maybe in the finals, but usually like first round, second round, we don't see all that many 7-game series. They usually are eliminated within like 4, 5, 6. And getting plus money. So again, not the worst bet. But maybe you bet them tonight, it's kind of the same thing. They lose tonight. You ain't going to cash that 2.5 for sure. But then again, you're laying 1.5 at minus 105, but they were plus money earlier. Like if you bet them earlier, I think that would have been the way to do it. If you like that bet, you just bet. If you would have liked it early, like bet it when that opened. Knicks minus 1.5 for today. Take Philly tonight for plus. Because again, if they lose tonight, they're not winning 2 games in this series.
All right, let's wrap up with UFC. The place you are at. The biggest steam move was clearly King Green after Jeremy Stevens didn't even attempt the weight cut. You see, he came in at like 160. So that's where you're trying to weight cut, and then you're just like, you know what, F it. I'm just going to donate some money to the kitty and come in over. So a lot of money has come in on Green. What else are you seeing? Oh, no, I don't see a lot of movement on some of these lines.
No. A few early, like you touched on, like when a few flips. Remember, like Tulio Kopilov, that flipped. Like Kopilov opened the favorite, then Tulio went the favorite, but it's sitting right where it's been for a long time. And we're seeing that with pretty much all these fights, and not a lot of line movement. I thought we would start seeing line movement today and going into tomorrow morning, but we're just not seeing that. And I don't know if that's a case of just bettors having a difficult time, because me and you talked about that, how this is a really good card, like an event to watch, but it's a tough card to bet. And I think a lot of sharps are even waiting, hoping the public knocks some of these lines out of whack so they can maybe find some value. But yeah, I agree with you. Not too many line movements, obviously, so far. King Green, I just think that line is just way too high. I thought it was too high when it opened. I still think it's too high. I get it, especially how Jeremy Stevens looked on the scales. But, again, King Green's a 500 fighter, more or less, throughout the UFC career, and even over the last, couple years. And he's coming off arguably like his best performance as a plus 200 dog, beating Helbier or whatever his name is. And now you're going to take him now where he's juiced to 400. To me, it just doesn't make sense unless you get creative and figure out a way to do it. Here's what I'm hoping for: that the line, I saw the line starting to drop a little bit at Kalshi right now. I could get minus 460 on Chimaev. I'll tell you what, Sean Strickland has done the absolute best job of promoting I have ever seen in combat sports. I've followed combat sports, not just the UFC, but MMA overall, other promotions and boxing, and never have I seen this good of a promotion. Sean Strickland has convinced at least half the bettors out there that a plus 450, plus 550 is live. Like they're actually arguing it that a plus 450 is Chimaev's toughest opponent to date. It wasn't DDP, where Chimaev was only a minus 250, 300 favorite, but it's now the toughest opponent where he's minus 600. Are you kidding me? Yeah, what a great job by Strickland, making the bettors believe that a plus 400, 500 is that live. We all know.
Let's see. We need to try and find a fight that you and I are kind of on opposite sides of for a little friendly head to head. Do you like Carpenter or Choa?
Carpenter. I like Carpenter.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. Sabatini Gomez.
I don't like the fight. Everybody's talking Sabatini, and I understand it, but if he's not able to take him down, Gomez is going to get him out of there, man. So I won't lay the chalk on Sabatini.
Kopylov and Tulio.
I like Tulio now. I like the under more. These two are going to stand and bang. And I think there's a little recency bias there because Kopylov's gone to a decision in 3 of his last 4, but zoom out a little bit. And this dude was a finishing machine, whether he wins or loses. I think like 6 or 7 previous fights finishes, and Tulio, same thing. Whether he wins or loses, it usually ends in a finish. So I like the under 2.5, especially at anything less than minus 150. But I do lean Tulio. I just don't like the price now at 2-1. And I know some sharp better that did bet Kopylov, so I'll respect that.
I think we'll go head to head on Tyra and Van. You like Tyra, don't you?
I do.
Okay.
And I'm starting to worry a little bit because I'm seeing the respect in the market on the Van side, and I get it. It's 5 rounds, and I do see a world where Tyra isn't able to take him down in the 4th or 5th round and Van starts to piece him up. You know what I mean? Like we've seen that because there's so many striker grappler matchups on UFC 328. And that's usually how it goes. Grappler implements his will. He's able to control or win via ground and pound or submission. And that's it. The striker only has a minute before the takedown at the start of each round, or the other way around, where the grappler has no success with the takedowns and the striker with the advantage in the striking just starts lighting them up. And there is a world where if Tyra isn't able to control Van and the takedowns get tougher, that Van stand-up starts to piece him up. I saw him land 204 strikes on Brandon Royval, 125 on Bruno Silva, 165 on Durden, 118 on Chaez. Like if Van starts lighting you up, there is a world where he could finish you.
Yeah, I'll take the Van side, just like what you said. I think Tyra's starting to feel himself with his striking a little bit. That'd be a mistake to try and go toe to toe with Van. I've seen.
Yeah, that's even with the reach. I don't think that his path to victory is backpack. That's it. Get the takedown, ride his back. I mean, usually he goes for submissions, Tyra. He's not really like a position guy, but this time you may want to control and get to a decision and get out of there with that strap.
What do you have up for everyone on Friday? You got a big weekend.
The Steam sheet's up, NBA, NHL, and Major League Baseball. A lot of information in there. More will be added throughout the day. Plus, you get a free 4% in MLB. Came from my new contact. I will put up a Major League Baseball package today because I put out a 4% series bet, a nice 4% first 5 bet. So I'm going to add a little more baseball to that. And the NBA, 4% is already sent out to subscribers. That line's still available. So I'm going to add another one that I just confirmed and put that package up. So within the next 60 minutes, there will be those packages up for today. And of course, tomorrow, UFC 328. There's 3 bets in there already. I will be adding bets up until I jump on in the shuttle to go to the arena. So yeah, more added because again, I go over the fights with one of the guys I do some stuff with, and I still finishing up some notes that I turned into the UFC. So still working on the card, but 3 bets are already in there. Don't wait till the last minute. And again, best of luck to all today and this weekend. Let's do some damage.
All right, Gianni, thank you so much for joining us.
Boys.
Have a great Saturday. Enjoy your time in Newark. Enjoy his time in Newark. So
yeah, that's said nobody ever.
True,
Andy.
True.
But for those, whether they're in Newark or not, there's always something that is good on the horizon. And what is that? That is what we have locked and loaded for this weekend. Andy, WT.buzz/AL. We have lacrosse action. We may be adding another one, but the PLL starts tonight. No plays tonight because I don't want to force anything. Have some leans. Maybe I'll give them out by the end of the show here. There's 2 games, one at 7, one at 10:30. But we do have a client play loaded, and that's not all, Andy. We have a litany of things over at your page, and a lot of great deals that people can take advantage of now.
Yeah, we got big time NBA play goes tonight. Lost the big play yesterday. Struess was a disaster, along with the entire Cavaliers team, but still great playoff run for NBA. So we've got that up. Any NHL play that we have, you'll get lacrosse, golf. We're watching our cricket play right now. So there's a lot of sports going on, and we have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 NASCAR plays. And NASCAR's been off to a great start, 4-0 run. And we got 4 plays just for this race that is on Sunday. It's a road course race. Lots of really good information. We know all about these drivers. We've seen a road course in the new cars this year. So all access, 3 days for $49. Probably the best bet. Get it today and you get locked and loaded all the way through the weekend. We also have the 30 days. You get 10 days free and $100 off. And we're still running the 1-year all-inclusive for $99 a month. So, all right, let's bring in Teddy Covers. We got to talk some NBA when we have Teddy on here. We're going to break down Knicks 76ers. We got to break down Spurs and Timberwolves. And I got to tell you, Teddy, James Harden did it to me again. When he got traded to the Cavs, I was like, I kind of like the fit. It's kind of good. And then you watch
and then the playoffs happen, Andy.
He's so slow. Like he can't keep up with anybody on the Pistons team. I watched that and I was like, this series is a wrap. So I do have to. I Thunder and Lakers. That's we kind of know what's happening. But what's your take on the Cavaliers? This feels like a disaster for them. Mobley stinks. Mitchell's falling apart, and James Harden looks old and slow. What's going on with Cleveland?
So you know me, I have to hijack. So. Did you see the Lakers hang tough with OKC last night and then just not cover the I mean, like that's If you had the Lakers and you saw that performance and then you looked at the final score, you go, what? That's a problem for LA. There's a problem for Cleveland too. That said, Lakers aren't beating the Thunder. Cleveland's A game will beat Detroit. All right, Detroit is up 2-0 in this series because they care more. They're playing harder. And they're making the adjustments. And that will to win, that hunger for the Pistons, that's why they were the top seed in the East, because they were a hungry regular season team. And, of course, they lost in this round of the postseason last year. They're a hungry playoff team. Say what you want about Harden and Mitchell. Mitchell's never been out of the second round. Harden has been out of the second round since 2018. Obviously, Allen and Mobley haven't done it for Cleveland. So that level of hunger, it means something in the postseason. The Pistons have it right now, and the Cavs have shown it.
All right. Mobley had a rebound last night. A rebound.
He had one more rebound than the 3 of us combined. Yes, that is for you statistic math majors out there. Yes.
Ridiculous. All right, let's get to the
but it's worth noting, we're all blaming Harden, Mitchell. It's not like the Mobley Jared Allen duo have stepped up and played, but it's been all on the road. Let's not forget the Cavs on the highway this postseason. 0-5 straight up, 0-5 against the spread. That's an emerging trend. It's clearly something worth riding at this stage. Cavs at home this postseason. They've won them all. And they've covered the number, I think, at 3 out of 4. So they've been a home road, and they're not supposed to be a home road team. It's not like that team can't go on the highway and win, but they just haven't done it yet so far this postseason. And obviously, if you haven't done it yet through the first 5 postseason games, I'm not going to ask Cleveland to win at Detroit in Game 6, even if the series is tied at 2 apiece.
Fair point. So
last thing. Very last thing. That's it. The markets are saying that the Cavs are still live in the series. When you look at the series money line price, when you look at the Game 3 price, the OKC's up 2-0 against the Lakers. You have to lay 120 to win $1 to get the Thunder to win a series. You have New York against Philly, and you have to lay 10 or 12 on the Knicks to win $1. For Detroit, it's not even 5 to win $1. They're saying that the Cavs are live. The markets are, and All it takes is one game to flip the momentum in a series. So I haven't written off Cleveland yet. Sorry.
I almost did last night.
Exactly.
I almost did last night, but you're right. It's on the whatever. All right, let's get to. I mean, we got injuries galore in this game, the Knicks and 76ers. So this line is pretty tough to figure out. But boy, if you can get a hold of the injuries and how the teams are going to react to their injuries, there's a lot of value to be had. We got Philly -1.5 over under 213.5. What's your take on this series and where we're at tonight?
So injuries are the key story for game 3 of the Knicks 76ers from a point spread perspective. Who stays healthy equals who survives and advances. And we talked about that prior to the postseason. These grueling 7-game series, if you're not healthy, you don't win. Right now, look at the Odds Logic live odds screen. It's been pretty steady Philadelphia money. We're seeing some over money come in right now. I'm seeing the Sixers -1.5 is the prevailing number, total sitting in the 214.5/215 range. We saw the Sixers play without Embiid in game 2 and hang tough. They had a chance to win that game. Obviously, they didn't play well offensively down the stretch, but they were in the game throughout. The Knicks never led by more than the point spread at any point during that contest. Philly can win games without Embiid. They've been doing it all year. Maxey and George, not a bad one, too. We talk about Drummond and Bona. They could pick up Embiid's minutes. They got the speedy athletic guards and Edgecombe and Quentin Grimes. They have the strong veteran presence in Kelly Oubre. It's not like Philly can't win without Embiid. They've done it this year. They've done it in seasons past. That said, when you score 12 points in the fourth quarter of game 2 with a chance to win, that offense didn't work during crunch time. And remember, they led 99-96, just under 7 minutes to play. And then they scored 3 points over the last 6 minutes and 50 seconds of that contest and still covered, which is kind of amazing considering how bad they played offensively down the stretch. The Knicks are the ones in this series with new and different injuries. Josh Hart smashed his thumb. He's questionable tonight. Mitchell Robinson should be back on the floor for dealing with an illness and missing the other night. But the key one for me is OG Anunoby. His hamstring is a big deal. Obviously, the Knicks have Brunson, they have Towns, they have 2 stars. But it's guys like Anunoby who turn star-laden teams into championship teams. And we saw when he got hurt 2 years ago in the postseason, the Knicks were not the same team. His status tonight very much in question. If he can't play, we could see more Miles McBride. We could see more Jordan Clarkson. We could see Landry Shamet. But none of those guys provide the skill set that OG Anunoby does. His effect on the point spread is every bit as important as Embiid tonight, in this bettor's opinion. Now, Maxey played 47 minutes the other night. Paul George played 43. Edgecombe played 40. Oubre played 40. Only 1 day off between these games. There are some concerns here about fatigue. And to Paul George's quote after the game, I thought we just ran out of gas. We got a little flat. We got some pretty good looks for the most part. We just didn't knock them down. That's certainly a concern. And I wouldn't be playing any overs in tonight's game. I'm looking under for this one. But the Maxey quote stands out to me. And we definitely feel like we can pull ourselves out of this one. Got to go home and get 2. I don't like it when they say get 2 as opposed to get the first one. That said, I'm looking at this game tonight to be the 76ers money line, and we look at the under. And, of course, the money line, when you talk about -1, -1.5 in this particular point spread range, makes sense for this bettor to ask the team to win in order to cover. You find money lines at -120 or even lower if you shop around right now. And that's, of course, one of the beauties of the Odds Logic live odds screen. You can find where the money line is the cheapest and say, all right, that's where I'm going to bet it right now. So oddslogic.com/Teddy for that free 7-day trial.
Here's what I love about Philly fans here. Let's do a little experiment here, Teddy. Hey, resident Philly fan, do you think the point spread should go up or down if Embiid plays or not?
I think the point spread should be not connected to Embiid at all. I think that this team has personally showed that in these type of matchups where it's run and gun, they're fine without Embiid because guess what? That's one less guy who stops at the 3-point line and throws up dog shit threes. So that's the way that I view it personally. I'm all for, and I'm not saying is Embiid a good player? Yes, he is a good player. You know what I mean? But as far as him being the engine that runs this ship, that's kind of past. This team goes as Maxey's going, and he's the guy who decides the pace. That's how I view it personally. And that's objective, right, Teddy? That's fully objective thoughts. I'm not burnt by Embiid at all, right?
Objective-ish. Yeah.
Yeah. But all joking aside, I do think, it doesn't surprise me. When the move went, when Embiid was out and everyone was rushing to bet the Knicks, that was one of the only times that I said, hey, I'm actually going to back the Sixers in this series.
Sure. I had Philly, and I stayed with Philly thinking that same thing. That, Joel Embiid, he doesn't hurt you, okay? And Philly's lack of offense down the stretch, if Embiid is in the game, they probably get to the free throw line, and they might have won that game, And without him in the lineup, they missed him during crunch time. So it's not like Embiid has no impact, but it's also not like Philly can't win without him. In my opinion, for tonight's game, the Anunoby injury is more important than the Embiid injury. If I'm going to say, can Philly win without Embiid? Can the Knicks win without? If they're both out, advantage Philadelphia. If they both play, advantage New York.
Agreed.
I just like to casually throw some shade at Luka. Like Embiid had his appendix out, banged up knee. Cade is dominating, coming off a collapsed lung. All these guys are playing hurt. Luka.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Luka just caught a wild stray. We're breaking down the Sixers and the Knicks. The next game we have is Spurs and T-Wolves. And Andy, you're like, and screw Luka too.
Anthony Edwards' knee bent the wrong way. And he's out there. But speaking of which, let's break down this play.
Yeah.
This game. Spurs, Timberwolves. Fascinating line. You brought up a good point. Like if a team is undervalued in game one than they normally are for the rest of the series. But boy, this line has shifted dramatically. I'm pretty surprised the books are not putting a higher number on Spurs with what they did in the last game. So what's your take on this line? We got the over under 216.5 on this game tonight in Minnesota.
Yeah, looking at the T-Wolves and the Spurs game 3 tonight, the Odds Logic live on screen, I'm seeing 5s out there, a 4 San Antonio. There are still some 4.5s. The money has come for the road favorite Spurs this morning. Total sitting in the 216.5 range as we speak. In game 1 was a shocker. Game 2 was a blowout. Now the Spurs have traveled to Minnesota. And you read the quotes out of the T-Wolves locker room after the ugly loss in game 2. Chris Finch, we just got punked. Anthony Edwards, punked is crazy. But I mean, just look at the film. See what we can gain from it. I tip my hat to those guys. They came out, they played hard. They were the more desperate team. They wanted it. We'll see where it goes from here. Edwards, quote, we came out cool. Look at what happened. My mama used to tell me that a hard head makes a soft ass. That's what happened tonight. And yes, I had to read that quote because it's the best Anthony Edwards quote of the day. And Anthony Edwards gives us some good ones. So my mama always used to tell me that a hard head makes a soft ass. So my mama never told me that. But I would expect to see Minnesota coming off that level of performance. You expect to see Minnesota to show up tonight. Last night's game was the throwaway. Game 2 was a throwaway game 2 nights ago. Tonight's game is the circle the wagon spot. And of course, the quotes coming out of this locker room from Finch are like, Colin said, we're going to spend a lot of possessions dribbling around to nowhere, which is kind of a veiled criticism of Edwards. And certainly offensively, it was not a good performance in game 2 for Minnesota. A lot of empty possessions. And when you think about the context of the season for Minnesota, that's been the criticism that Finch has had for them for much of the year. He blames the offense often and the lack of focus offensively for the struggles that they've had. I think Minnesota has a better game in them. I'm sure Minnesota has a better game than the one they just played. But we've seen Minnesota play well enough to win in this series. We've seen Minnesota healthy enough to win. And Edwards, by the way, said his knee feels good for tonight. He's stepping back to a normal workload. He's off minutes restrictions. He expected to be in the starting lineup this evening. Minnesota has been very much a character team. They've been to the Western Conference Finals each of the last 2 years. I would not be surprised at all to see the T-Wolves give the Spurs a real battle tonight. They're a character team coming off a bad loss. San Antonio is a young team that hasn't proven that they're going to go on the highway and beat teams like Minnesota by margin to take control of the series. So lean here is T-Wolves plus the points, and no argument here. If we expect a little bit better offensive performance from Minnesota, we'll look at the over as well.
I like the over a lot. I like the over a lot in this one. These are two teams that can really score. And if Edwards, I don't think he's 100%. I don't think he has been 100% for a while. But if they're taking him off minutes restriction, that's a pretty big statement that he's going to be there. So, and just his presence seems to get the team going. So, yeah, I like the over a lot on that one there, Teddy. So, let's see. Someone wanted to get your take. Somebody asked earlier about the 70. What was the 2.5? Dan, what was the?
Yeah, so they were asking Gianni. They have a series bet, and I believe it was like plus 130 around that. I'm scrolling up to find the exact thing, but he was basically saying taking 2.5 games with the Sixers right now. Yeah, here it is, plus 2.5, plus 135. Any thoughts? I mean, it really comes down to tonight because I think Gianni kind of nailed it. If they don't win tonight, they're probably not taking 2 games off of this team. What do you think about the question here from George?
So I don't agree with that premise.
Okay.
That if Philly loses tonight, there's no way they can take 2 games. We've seen it happen all the time. They steal game 4, and then the Knicks are flat in game 5, and it's not like Madison Square Garden's at home, and then the Knicks end up winning in 6 in Philadelphia. Even with a 3, that's if the Knicks have a 3-0 lead, I could still see this being a 6-game series realistically. So,
okay.
I don't know if that answers the question or not, but at plus 2. But that said, I expect the Knicks to win the series. I expect the Knicks to win the Eastern Conference. So they're not a team I'm looking to fade in that sense.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So great breakdowns, Teddy. I always love talking NBA with you. So big Friday, big weekend. What do you have up for everyone?
You love talking NBA with me. I love looking at you in purple and with a purple background.
It looks sharp.
It looks so sharp. I'm jealous of it I'm like, my lighting doesn't look that cool. So more power to you. Obviously, the NBA playoffs have been something that I've been pretty good at for a pretty long time. Or I think 58% over the last 5 postseasons, looking for the 5th straight winning postseason. Single best bet for tonight. One of the games we just talked about on my homepage, wt.buzz/TC. And the baseball's been real good. Consistently this year, dating even back to last year, up close to 50 units. I think it's 52 units of profit, whatever it is. The baseball has been good, dating back to last September, and I've been in good form here in April and into May. Single best bet on my page again, wt.buzz/TC. But don't buy plays, guys. Really, get on board with the package. Find the capper you want to be. If it's not me, that's fine. Johnny, Marco, whoever. But whether it's a 3-day package, whether it's a week-long package, whether it's the rest of the NBA season, whether it's the all-summer deal, great deals right now all across the site, WagerTalk.com.
Teddy Covers, always making Fridays just a little bit better with the NBA talk. Good luck, Teddy. Continued success in the playoffs. Have a great weekend.
A man with neither a hard head nor a soft ass. Teddy Covers, living by the words of one Anthony Edwards. Yeah, it sounded like a weird quote from the Waterboy, right? Mama said, those alligators are so ornery because they got all them teeth and no toothbrush, but soft asses. I think that was from the deleted scenes of Waterboy. Yeah,
it's pretty good. That was pretty good. It was pretty good. Let's bring in a guy who we will not be talking about his head or his ass.
No.
You're welcome, Marco.
Yes, Marco's thankful as are the viewers, right? Marco, how we doing on a Friday, man?
We're doing just glad to be here. Always look forward to Fridays with you guys, and it's always a busy day for me. Friday, get nonstop stuff going on. We'll be filming the deli right after I get off the air with you guys. And then I do radio on Fridays at the Westgate, but I'll be also shooting a video at Westgate today, kind of an advanced look at the Derby, or not the Derby, but the Preakness. We did it for the Derby, and we had just tremendous response to that video. I think it was, one of our all-time highs in views. So we're coming back and going to do a Preakness preview. And then, of course, next week, on Tuesday, we'll be filming the official Pony Pundit show for the Preakness once we have the draw Monday evening for post positions.
Yeah, and Marco, shout out to you. Shout out to our man John Hoagland behind the scenes. That was Marco. Other than these betting advice videos that we have, that they're essentially evergreen, so they're constantly getting views. It was the most viewed video in this channel's history. So now you have the longest streak and you have the most viewed video, Marco. So, hey, the founder of WagerTalk, or co-founder of WagerTalk, you got a lot more feathers in your hat than our man Prez. That's all I'll say, Marco. Real quick before we talk MLB here, though, I do want to get your thoughts. You mentioned that Derby. You have a question here coming in from one of our horse fans. How stunning was that horse race? So thoughts on obviously the Derby, how that equates to what we're seeing in the Preakness, because really this whole race for the Triple Crown, I know you and Kelly and Sean are all going to talk about this on the Pony Pundits episode. It's almost becoming a relic of the past. These Derby winners, if it doesn't set up for them for the Preakness, which it's seeming more increasingly so, the Triple Crown is kind of becoming something that's kind of an antiquated relic to go towards, right, Marco?
Well, it is. And, there's a lot of people, that was the talking point, the hot topic point for all the talk shows this week. And people, I'm not going to pull punches, don't understand horse racing, are giving their takes and saying that cheating the public. And you know what? As a horse owner, you don't owe the public anything. You owe the horse first. The horse comes first in every single instance and decision that you make. And everybody is up in arms because Golden Tempo is not going to race in the Preakness. Here's the reality of it. The horse isn't built to win at this distance, okay? The horse, take nothing away from the horse. Great Kentucky Derby. It's set up with the fast fractions. It was his preferred distance, and he got a perfect, clean trip. When you're dead last by 20 lengths, you're not going to have a lot of people right in front of you. That's no problem. And whenever he started his run, he had a target to go after, and that target was Renegade, and he followed him right down the stretch and got by him at the end. But they felt the horse could not win the Preakness, and why waste a race and put this horse through the added stress of going 3 races in 5 weeks when the horse sets up well for the Belmont. And what people, I have not heard one person say in their hot take, because they're saying that's greedy owners, and somebody even called gutless owners. And I might have replied to that tweet as a gutless owner and said some things, but this is a situation. They're talking about last year with Sovereignty. Okay. And what they did, skipping the Preakness as well. And they're cheating the public. No, they're not, because guess what? You're seeing Sovereignty race as a 4-year-old this year. You don't see that anymore. Why? Because they did the right thing by the horse, kept the horse healthy, raced him all year, got to see this horse on the biggest stage all year, and you're going to see him as a 4-year-old. You're also seeing journalism as a 4-year-old and Baeza as a 4-year-old. That's something you never saw. So the take of the gutless owners that do everything for money and send them right to the breeding shed, all 3 of those horses would have been outstanding studs based on what they did at 3. But their back racing is for the horse racing fans and the public. So, get all your facts before you do hot takes to get clicks. Sorry, I'm off.
Hell my yeah. Let's go. Let's go, Marco. I like it. I like it a lot. I like a little fire here. We don't get Marco's wing sauce until football season, but calling out the hot take artists, we're all for it, Marco. But let's get into a little MLB action here today, Marco. Tonight you got an NHL playoff. We'll talk about that in a few. But yesterday, I'll be honest, Joe and I, we were kind of in agreement as far as this, opening of the series. San Diego Padres, their offense was finally looking good until it wasn't. 2-1 loss yesterday. Now you're seeing them as a little bit shorter of a favorite. Pitching has a little bit to do with that here. But St. Louis, they making it 2 in a row, or should we just go back to the well? We took it on the chin with the Padres yesterday, but is this a nice bounce back spot for an offense that was really humming until yesterday's 1-run outing there, Marco?
Well, if you've been watching the show on Fridays, We talk about teams returning home from road trips a lot. Well, you had one return home on Thursday, kind of an oddity yesterday. And what happened? Yeah, they lost that first game of the homestand. In St. Louis, they were the first game of a road trip. And how many times we tell you that these teams that go on the road trips that have been playing well, they are generally a play in that first game to get the road trip start off. But you didn't have a wrong or right side yesterday. You lose a game 2-1 or win it 2-1. That's a coin flip. It's a pitcher's duel, and you just, got a little bit unlucky. You talk about the Padres. They were in a funk, losing 5 out of 6 before they won 3 out of 4 and then came home. But it is game 2. I like to take that team in game 2 if they lost the first game of the homestand. And the Padres, if you look at it, they've held 4 of their last 5 opponents to 3 runs or less. And if you look at St. Louis, this is a team that's just the opposite. 4 of their last 5 games, they've scored 3 runs or less. So I like the spot here. Now, people are going to be quick to point out Michael McGreevy has pitched well, and I can't argue that. His last 5 starts, the thing that concerns me, he doesn't give up a lot of runs, but I think things are going to even out for him because I think he's been dancing through the raindrops. He has only one time in the last 5 starts had more than 3 strikeouts. Now, I realize some guys just are not strikeout pitchers. I get that. But, when you're constantly getting those outs, hitting it to somebody, at some point, they're going to find holes and balls are going to get through. They're going to get into gaps or find the seam through the infield. And I think there's going to be some aggression coming with him. And then let's look at the Padres. And we talked about them having that little slump, and then they broke out of it. Well, the guy that broke them out of that slump was Griffin Canning. He made his first start of the season. Now, this is a guy they signed last year and coming into this season, was rehabbing, had a season-ending injury last year, had 5 rehab starts down in AAA El Paso, and he pitched well down there. He gave up in the first start, on Sunday, he gave up just 1 run, striking out 7 batters over 5 innings. Now, he was on a pitch count in that one. He threw 73 pitches, but start number 2, they'll stretch him out a little more, and it was a spark that the Padres needed because he was, planned to be a big part of this pitching staff when they signed him. And I look for him to have another good outing tonight and to be able to handcuff the Cardinals that aren't scoring a lot of runs. So, yeah, go back to the well tonight with the Padres.
Yeah, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, it broke a little bit last night, but let's not throw it out. We can repair and go back here to the Padres. Here's one, Marco, that I feel like a lot of folks are going to be intrigued on, even if you're not betting. I mean, this is the series of the weekend. It's the Braves against the Dodgers. LA Dodgers, modest favorites here. But we asked a question earlier, Marco. We were talking about which starting pitchers would you back just blind? Don't tell me the opponent. Don't tell me the weather. I just want to back this starting pitcher. Name that popped up a couple times is Chris Sale, and he's who's going to be on the bump for this Braves team as they're taking on the Dodgers. So 2-time defending champ against the team that is the best team in baseball to start the year here. This is an intriguing handicap, and Chris Sale is going to be the one who's on the hill. How are we looking to bet this one, Marco?
Well, you look at this one, and, Atlanta's been on the road for a while now. This is game 7 of a 9-game road trip. They are 4-2 so far on the road trip. We will put the little asterisk to that 4-2, though. It was against Colorado, and probably one of the most disappointing teams in baseball, next maybe to the Mets, obviously, is Seattle, of who they beat so far on this road trip. But the Dodgers are returning home from a 6-game road trip of their own, so that's a little bit of caution. 2 asterisks to that. I always tell you, if they had the day off before returning home, that kind of negates that negative. And if they're playing a big series, which obviously, as you pointed out, Atlanta has been the surprise so far this season, they're going to take them serious. But I do look at the Dodgers, and they've been in a scoring slump, guys. They have scored 2 runs or less in 4 of their last 5 games before scoring 8 and 12 runs against Houston in that series that they just completed. Now, you talked about Chris Sale, and if there's somebody that you want to go with, they can just totally shut down a team. Well, that would be a guy I would put on that list, and I would definitely put him on that list when it's the month of May. This guy has been absolutely incredible in his career during the month of May. He's 6-1 so far this season. 6 of the 7 starts have been 0 or 1 run allowed. Okay, that pretty much is shutting the door down on the opposition for sure. But I talked about that month of May stat. When he starts in the month of May, he's been on a few teams, some really good teams and some, suspect teams too earlier on. His team is 41-14 in the month of May when he starts. That's pretty impressive stat there. And then we look at the Dodgers and Emmett Sheehan. This is a guy that I don't have a lot of confidence with. He's going to go and give you those 5 innings, but he's going to give up the 2 to 3 runs. He's given up 18 runs over 30 innings of work. No need to overthink this one. We talk about Chris Sale being the shutdown pitcher. Dodgers, until that Houston series, wasn't hitting the baseball. I'm going to go ahead and take Chris Sale. Let's take the bullpens out of the equation. Let's make this first 5 and have Chris Sale outpitch Emmett Sheehan. Yeah, that's the way I'll go. Give me Atlanta first 5.
Love it. That is a agreement here because I'm a Sale fan. Even as a Phillies fan, got to respect greatness when you see it there. So let the train continue for the Bravos, at least in the first 5, says Marco D'Angelo. Marco, over at your page, WT.buzz/MD, no one at WagerTalk has been better for their clients over a 5-year time than you in the NHL. And a lot of that, Marco, has to do with your selectivity. It's not a sport that you're going crazy in volume, so you're stepping out a little bit tonight. 4% of that you got rocking. Tell folks about it and what else they can find over at your page.
Yeah, you can get my 4% NHL game of the week. Last 5 years, we're up 75 units with the hockey. We pick our spots. This is one of them tonight. We've got a strong play, so check that out. And if you're going to buy tonight's play for $25, the best deal, the best bang for your buck, honestly, grab the 3-day special right now. It's normally $69. You can pick it up for $49. That'll get you Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'll let you in on a little secret. Don't tell anybody, but we're looking at a 5% tomorrow. There is a play that I've got circled. I'm just waiting to confirm lineups in case anything happens overnight, but I think we're having a 5% tomorrow. That play by itself is 35. So guess what, guys? 49 is a absolute no-brainer. Grab a 3-day all access. You'll get everything. And guys, the WNBA starts tonight. Yep. Check out Marco's Deli today. We're going to be filming that shortly. It'll be posted on the YouTube channel early evening tonight. We're going to have 3 plays on the Deli. We've got a smorgasbord tonight in the Deli. We got a hockey play for Saturday, NBA play for Saturday, and a WNBA play for Saturday. You'll get 3 plays in the Deli this week.
I love it, Marco. So don't worry. Our man, Sean Michael, where are the WNBA plays? Subscribe, Sean, because guess what? They're going to be in Marco's Deli this afternoon. Marco, always a pleasure. Best of luck with that 4%er. Best of luck with that potential 5%er. People can get them both for just $49, 3-day all access. Thanks, Marco. Appreciate it, man.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Have a good one. Yeah.
No,
and Andy,
Marco. Come on. Give me a break with Marco. I may have a 5% play. I have the most views in any one video. I won 25 plays in a row.
Like, give me a break. I mean, it's like, but Andy, could it be happening to a nicer guy who's on a heater? Like, let's be real. We do love us some Marco, but but you are right. He's like, I might have the most money in 5 years. I might have the best video. I went 30 in a row.
I'm the biggest horse expert in the world. All right.
I know it was having the backs. He's like, I'm going to stand up for these horse owners, these oppressed horse owners. Oh, man.
Some people on social media act like it's the horse's choice. Like
exactly.
these horses these days.
Yeah, it's like a Far Side comic. You remember the Gary Larson Far Side comics? It's like, yeah, the horses are deciding. They're like, I'm not going to the Preakness. I don't have a pisser's chance in winning that. I can't run 4 furloughs. it's
so funny.
It's pretty brutal.
Monday we'll have a little bit of a sample size for WNBA, but for tonight, fading a couple of bad teams. I think the Connecticut Sun is, well, I know they're bad. The New York Liberty -9.5. I would look at the Liberty or possibly the under minus 159.5, mostly because the Sun are going to struggle to score against the Liberty. And I will tell you, we did put a WNBA play in. We have the Golden State Valkyries -5.5 against the Seattle Storm. The Seattle Storm, they're not good, and now they're banged up. Like their best players out. So this could be a real problem. Yeah. So Jan has a very strong opinion that this Storm team is big time fade material to start the season. So as a team, that's definitely what we'll be riding there to start it. So
I love it. And also, guys, we got Andy's all around the world that's going to be coming your way. If you're just tuning in, we want to remind you, comment below which MLB team you think is going to score 10 or more runs today. If you're correct and you include your WagerTalk username, free 3-day flex pass is coming your way. But Andy, it's definitely worth mentioning too, coming up about 30 minutes from now, maybe a little bit longer, depending on when Ski wants to hop on. He will have WNBA plays as well. Ski is a phenomenal WNBA handicapper. So obviously he'll preview the 2 NBA games, a little bit of NBA weekend action as well. But he's also going to be talking WNBA. So subscribe. Don't miss profit picks following us here on the channel.
Yeah, I'm looking at a line tomorrow. I don't know how good or bad the Chicago Sky are going to be, but they're only -4.5 against this Portland Fire team. And this Portland Fire team is probably going to be dead last for 2 years in a row. So, all right, let's do all around the world. Then I got to get going. It's Mortal Kombat Friday, Dan. Going to see Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat Friday?
Mortal Kombat Friday. Yes, absolutely. So,
like you're playing or you're seeing the Mortal. I saw that there was like a trailer for Mortal Kombat, but are you playing Mortal Kombat or are you participating?
We're going to see the movie. We're going to see the movie tonight.
They're so bad that they're good. That's balance, Andy. You talked about you saw Devil Wears Prada 2 the other day. Now you're going to see the Mortal Kombat movie. First one was super fun, so I like that, Andy. You got to get going. Give these people the free plays.
All right, we're going to go to the Timberwolves and Spurs. I'm a believer in this Terrence Shannon. He looks great. He looks the part. Edwards is supposed to be getting full minutes, but Ayo's not healthy at all. He only played 10 minutes and does not look healthy in the slightest. And Shannon is passing the eye test, and he might be one of the healthiest guys in the series. So I'm going to take his over 13.5 points plus rebounds. He had 5 rebounds in each of the last 2 games against San Antonio, and he went over his point totals. Point totals set at 10.5. He easily went over. So maybe with Edwards in the lineup, he gets a little bit fewer minutes, or maybe Mike Conley gets a little bit more or a little bit lesser minutes. So I'm a believer in Terrence Shannon. He looks the part. Look at his over 13.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And I believe people have been riding this one. I have not made this a client play because I was late to the streak, but it is worth mentioning that Tobias Harris has just been fantastic. We've been using him in our same game parlays in all around the world, or not all around the world. On the prop line, we do a same game parlay of the day, and Tobias Harris on his alt lines has been good. But this is 7 straight games with 20+ points. He looks great, and the Cavaliers have not shown any ability to slow him down. They're not guarding anybody on the perimeter. So those are a couple plays that you can look at. So is Meryl Streep in Mortal Kombat? She's so good. She could probably make it better. She might be able to make it better. So
can't make it any worse, Andy. Can't make it any worse.
No. We're getting together. We're getting together for food and drinks beforehand. So we've decided we're gonna have some Sub-Zero frozen margaritas.
That's awesome. I'm all down for a themed drink, Andy. That is an amazing time. I know we're over time. You got to get going. I have another show as well. People ask for the PLL leans. This one just missed as a client play, 10:30 p.m. I bet it myself. We're not putting it in for clients, though, simply because there's too many injuries. Atlas money line. They're playing the Carolina Chaos. I could belabor you with many points. Carolina Chaos has a new head coach. Head coaches in their first game in the PLL that are new, 1-5 straight up. Atlas are the defending champion. I don't think there's any hangover. Atlas money line, as long as it's under 130, that's where my money's going to be tonight. So there's your PLL lean. PLL is back, and we have a client play, WT.buzz/AL. Andy, enjoy the movie, my friend.
Absolutely. Well, thanks very much. Hit the like button, subscribe. Good luck on your bets, and we'll see everyone